This is episode 82 of Teacher Approved. You're listening to Teacher Approved, the podcast helping educators elevate what matters and simplify the rest. I'm Heidi.
And I'm Emily. We're the creators behind Second Story Window, where we give research-based and teacher-approved strategies that make teaching less stressful and more effective. You can check out the show notes and resources from each episode at secondstorywindow.net.
We're so glad you're tuning in today. Let's get to the show.
Hey there! Thanks for joining us today for Teacher Approved Tips, a special series from the Teacher Approved podcast. Every Thursday, we're bringing you a weekly bonus episode highlighting new and favorite teacher-approved tips from us and other amazing educators. Our first tip is, prepare supplies in advance for new students who will join your class throughout the year. Tell us some more about this, Heidi.
So this might not seem like a back-to-school tip, but it actually is, because now is the time that you want to be thinking about this. Once a new student shows up without warning, the third week of September, or even earlier sometimes, it is too late to be prepared.
And that's why we love having new student kits ready to go. They don't take much effort either. Decide how many new student kits you want to have on hand based on what kind of turnover your school usually gets. That's probably going to vary a lot from school to school. I always want to err on the side of too many versus not enough. You can ask around to your coworkers or the office staff if you're new at the school to get an idea of how many new students you should expect during the school year. And then maybe prepare a few more than that.
Then, as you are putting out your supplies for your students at back to school, just go ahead and fill up your new student kits too. Think about all the things your students would need to jump right in on a random day of school, especially anything that will need their name on it. So think of desk nameplates, folders, notebooks, and if you provide the crayons, glue, scissors, and all of that, put each of those in the bag too.
Remember to add to these kits every time you're making something with your students' names on them. So that might include popsicle sticks for your name jar, tags for the job chart, a magnet for the lunch count. You get it. And don't forget birthday certificates or whatever you prep in advance for student birthdays. I always stored these in a big Ziploc bag, even though it wouldn't really close with the notebooks inside.
But since you will be making these kits probably every year, you may want to invest in reusable zipper pouches. Amazon has packs of 14 16 by 12 inch mesh zipper pouches for under $12. So that's only 83 cents a pouch.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
And then you don't have to worry about anything falling out. I know I had a lot of years where I had my row of packs tipping over in my closet. And a zipper pouch would have really fixed that particular headache.
Yes.
So if you want the big pouches, look for 16 by 12 inch mesh zipper pouches, which is a tongue twister, or search for A3 size pouches, and we will link to some of those in the show notes.
You're already doing the work to set up for your students, so making these kits now is such a simple way to give your future self a gift. Plus, having these kits ready for new students will help them feel that there was a spot waiting just for them when they arrive. We want those new kiddos to feel welcome right from the start.
So trust us, that Wednesday morning where a new student gets registered for your class 5 minutes before school starts.
Oh, you know the feeling.
You will be giving yourself all the high fives for getting these kits ready to go now. We would love to hear your ideas for what to add to your new student kits. Come share your thoughts over in the Teacher Approved Facebook group. Hey there, teacher friend. Do you have a question or concern that could use a teacher-approved solution?
We'd love to help you out by answering your question here on the podcast. You can submit your questions to hello@secondstorywindow.net and put podcast question in your subject line. We can't wait to hear what's on your mind. Our second teacher-approved tip today comes from Blue Sky Designs by Mrs. T.
Hi to all the teacher-approved listeners out there. I'm Lauren Thorpe, and I've been a tutor, a substitute teacher, and a full-time classroom teacher here in Australia. I'm now a stay-at-home mum, just beginning to homeschool my oldest child. I also support teachers through my business called Blue Sky Designs by Mrs. T. Thank you to Emily and Heidi for having me on the show today to share a math tip with everyone. The range of tips and ideas that are shared on this podcast is so valuable, and I hope you find mine helpful today too. Today, I'm going to share a super simple and really engaging math activity idea that you can use to review so many math concepts. And that activity is to ask students to find the rule of a number pattern and complete the sequence. So you'll give them the first few numbers in a sequence. Perhaps those numbers will be 2, 4, and 6. Then students will need to firstly identify the pattern. In this case, it's that the numbers are increasing by 2 each time. Secondly, they can complete the next few numbers in the sequence. The thing that makes this such a great activity is how easily you can adapt it. So if you're working with first graders, you can have some simple skip counting patterns like I used in my example. If you work with 7th graders, you can use much more complex patterns that might even be multi-step. For example, they may need to multiply the previous number by 7 and then add 3 to get the next number in the sequence. If you're working on shapes, you can have a shape-based pattern, perhaps 2 shapes with 4 sides, followed by 1 shape with 3 sides, and so on. You could use coins if you're working on money or fractions, and it works brilliantly if you're focusing on the order of operations. You can use this activity as a time filler for early finishes or as a regular review task at the end of each math unit you cover. You can set patterns at different difficulty levels too to cater for the range of needs in your class, or ask students to come up with their own patterns for a friend to figure out. This is a great way to see how well students can understand and apply the math concepts you've been working on in class. So, I hope you find that helpful. If you'd like more ideas like this, I have a blog with plenty of teaching tips in a range of subject areas, including math. I have some more problem-solving challenges and activity ideas like the number pattern activity I shared today. I share ideas for reviewing multiplication, helping kids practice addition, activities for place value intervention, and ways you can combine math with English. My blog is called The Musings of Mrs. T, and I'd love for you to take a look. If you want to try using the activity I shared today with your students, I have some ready-made number pattern task cards available in my TPT store as part of my Number Sense bundle. This bundle is ideal for 3rd to 5th grade and includes a prime and composite number bingo game, Number Sense logic puzzle stories, a guide for helping kids read long numbers, and worksheets to help students express numbers in different forms like expanded form or word form. You can find the Number Sense bundle in my TPT store, Blue Sky Designs by Mrs. T. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope that you're encouraged to try using number patterns in your learning space and to adapt this to suit the needs of your students. I hope you really have fun with it and that your students do too.
Thank you, Lauren, for sharing that tip with us. This is such a great tip because you can do it at any time as a time sponge activity that requires almost no prep.
And I love the suggestion she gave for tailoring your patterns to your students' needs by varying the difficulty. Plus, it's a great idea to let the students come up with their own patterns for the other students to uncover. They love doing that sort of thing.
Be sure to check out more from Blue Sky Designs by Mrs. T.
That's it for today's episode. Remember to make your new student packs now and try Lauren's Teacher Approved tip to use number pattern puzzles to review math concepts. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Teacher Approved. I'm Heidi.
And I'm Emily. Thank you for listening. Be sure to follow or subscribe in your podcast apps so that you never miss an episode.
You can connect with us and other teachers in the Teacher Approved Facebook group. We'll see you here next week. Bye for now.
Bye.